How to survive with a Chinese mother-in-law. Lying in my bedroom, I thought everything is fine until I overheard my mother-in-law in the living room thinking I had gone out. She was on the phone with her daughter, complaining about me.
Oh, she spent money recklessly. Always buying clothes, not even earning anything.
Just wasting my son's money.
What should I do? I was stunned. 3 years of living together, barely had any conflict. We always communicated directly. I thought I had a 神仙婆婆, a dream mother-in-law, until that moment. This viral post on Xiaohongshu, Rednote, sparkled heated discussion about the complex relationship between Chinese daughters-in-law and their mother-in-law. The most liked comment? I know how to answer these questions. Open the door and loudly say the old Chinese saying, "Who dares to point out my faults shall be handsomely rewarded." The second liked comments. Record her, set it on your ringtone and alarm. Constantly remind yourself and your family if any relative tells you to be filial. Just send them the recording. Just silently walk out and lean against the wall until she notices you. This peep into real-life experience just show how intimidating a mother-in-law can be in Chinese culture. But why? And more importantly, how do you survive with living with one? Let's dive in. The true nature of mother-in-law relationship. The first 10 years, the daughter-in-law looks at the mother-in-law. The next 40 years, the mother-in-law depends on the daughter-in-law. Unlike in the West, where elderly care is often handled by retirement homes or government support, in China, daughters-in-law are often expected to take care of their aging in-laws and their own parents. This makes the mother-in-law relationship very unique. She might be strict now, but one day she will rely on the same daughter-in-law she once criticized. This creates an unspoken power struggle. In the beginning, the mother-in-law holds power, but as she grows older, that power shifts, and many daughter-in-law remember everything. Why should I show filial piety to in-laws who didn't raise me? In traditional Chinese culture, when a woman gets married, she is seen as part of her husband's family too. Her responsibility shifts from her birth parents to her in-laws. But here's the contradiction part. If I treat my mother-in-law like my own mother, then shouldn't my husband expected to show filial piety to my parents? Well, usually it does. In the West cultures, this expectation doesn't exist in the same way. There is a clear boundary between parents and married couples. In China, however, family ties are deeply intertwined, leading to many of these 婆媳战争, mother-in-laws versus daughter-in-laws battles. In traditional Chinese culture, marriage doesn't just mean joining your husband. It means becoming part of his family. A wife is expected to respect, care for, and even financially support her in-laws. In many Western cultures, marriage creates a new independent family unit. While in China, a daughter-in-law is expected to serve, but she may not receive the same in return. And this leads to resentment and conflict still, especially in cases where a mother-in-law expects devotions but refuses to respect her son's wife as an equal. The common tropes of mother-in-law. Blurred boundary. Many conflicts rise when boundaries aren't clearly defined. Mothers-in-law expected lifelong control over their sons even after marriage. Others feel threatened by a daughter-in-law's influence. Meanwhile, some young couples still rely heavily on parental support, and this is where it came from, financially or emotionally, while resenting interference, which I feel the Western families are much more independent. This creates a power struggle where either side is fully independent. Lack of financial independence. Many young couples in China depend on their parents to buy a house, help with wedding costs, or raise children even. But if you take money, housing, or childcare from your in-laws, they maybe feel entitled to control your choices a little bit. The solution? Financial independence, of course. The less you rely on them, the less leverage they have over you. Misplaced expectations about childcare sometimes. Some daughter-in-law assume that babysitting is an in-law's obligation. But in reality, grandparents helping with childcare is a favor, not duty. When expectations aren't met, conflicts arise. If you're a mother-in-law helping raise your kids, be prepared to compromise on parenting styles or take full responsibility yourself. A mother-in-law's attachment to her son can create friction. Many Chinese mothers subconsciously see their sons as an extension of themselves, sometimes more than their own husbands. This creates an overprotective or controlling dynamic, making it hard for a daughter-in-law fully accept it. So I feel like this is not just in China, it's quite common in the Asia. How do you survive living with a Chinese mother-in-law? Maybe it's not Chinese mother-in-law, just any mother-in-law. Don't be an easy target, set boundaries before talking about filial piety. Establish rules from the start. The first time she tests you, such as ask you for pushing for a baby, when you're gonna have a baby, interfering in finances, shut it down firmly but politely. Mom, my husband and I have already discussed this. No need to worry. Respect comes from refusal. Filial piety is not about limitless obedience. The more you avoid conflict, the more she pushes. Use your husband as a shield. His parents, his problem, redirect the conflicts. If your in-law complain about your cooking, just smile. Oh, my husband said this is his favorite dish. He specifically asked me to learn this. Give less, gain more. Don't rush to do chores. The more housework you do, the more you will be treated like free labor. Better to hire a cleaner than to get stuck with a dutiful wife. Make your gifts high profile but impractical instead of useful groceries. Give an expensive health supplement gift box. Looks good, but they will never use it. Your money, your reputation. Master the art of sarcasm. If she says women should quit their jobs to raise their kids, you can just smile and reply, Mom, these days men can take paternity leave too. Maybe I'll talk to my husband about quitting this job. Fight fire with fire. Push about having kids. Say, a fortune teller told me having a baby would ruin my finances. Works 10 times better than logic. Treat your mother-in-law like a client, not a parent. Listen to half. Execute a third. If she says, make soup every day, you just say, sure, then order takeout every day. Golden rule. Prioritize yourself in a marriage is a business deal. The more power you have to walk away, financially and mentally, they're less likely to mistreat you. Don't aim for praise as a good wife. Being called kind just means you are easy to exploit. Being called difficult means people respect you. Final mic drop. Smart women don't play it. Be good to those who deserve it. Otherwise, go feral instead of burning yourself out. Okay, good luck. Thank you so much for watching my video. Bye bye.